Okay, so here was this week's portfolio. We had 82% in the US and 18% out of it. Um, 93% of the portfolio was in large cap stocks, with the remainder in the mid cap. And the majority we see were characterized as value companies with 37%, 47% core, and 10% growth. And going down to the sector split up, we see we're still pretty heavy on the defensive side and the sensitive, and taking a little bit off of the cyclical side. With this column being our portfolio and this column being the S&P 500, looks like we're a little underweight than the S&P on consumer cyclical and financials, overweight on energy, and underweight on industrials and technology. And then we're overweight on consumer defensive and healthcare. So the top three sectors would be the energy, healthcare, and consumer defensive. It looks like consumer defensive has overtaken the technology sector, which was previously in our top three. So we're moving a little from technology down to a little more defensive on the consumer side, and that would be your consumer staples. So those three sectors together make up 57% of the portfolio. Going a little farther down here, we have our prospective PE ratio is about 15, which is 90% of the S&P 500. Our price to book ratio is about 2.68, which is 92% of the S&P 500. So we're buying the earnings and the net assets of these companies for cheaper than what is in the S&P 500. Looks like our return on assets, return on equities is well, the ROA is lower and the return on equities is slightly higher. And our projected growth is about 7.85% over the next 5 years for earnings per share. And that's about 75% of the S&P 500. And that's due to the majority of our portfolio being value companies instead of growth companies. Also, our dividend yield is 2.74%, which is about 57% higher than that of the S&P 500, and that's also due to a lot of our companies being value. So it looks like the size of our companies are about the same as the S&P 500, and that's about $100 billion in market cap on average. Also, our top five holdings, we got Total, Cigna, General Mills, Intel, and Medtronic. And this is where a lot of our top three sectors comes in, with the energy and healthcare, and then consumer defensive. And then we've got a little bit of technology in here as well.